If you want to make fabulous gluten-free food, you need to learn a little bit about the different gluten-free flours available. In this video, I'm talking about how to use coconut flour and the properties and best uses for it. I've been teaching cooking classes for 10 years, so I know you can learn to make the foods that you love. So this is number 10 of my 12-part series on how to make gluten-free flour. And when I started to do this series, I was going through all the flours in my cupboard, trying to understand why I had so many, what was the best uses for them, and realized that I didn't really use coconut flour at all very much. So it was sort of at the bottom of the bucket. So when I pulled it out and looked at it again, I did a little bit of experimenting, and I would say there's 3 reasons that you might want to try coconut flour. So number 1 is if you can't tolerate rice. So some people cannot tolerate rice, and almost every gluten-free flour blend has rice flour in it. Also, coconut flour is grain-free and nut-free, so if you have allergies or are trying to do grain-free, it's not feels like it's not grains are not working for you, then coconut flour is an option. And also, if you want to get more fiber, so coconut flour has twice as much fiber as all the other flours, and so it's an option to consider. So coconut flour, this is coconut flour. It's kind of a yellowy color, and it's got a faint coconut taste that can be highlighted by using coconut in a recipe, or it can also be masked by using cocoa or chocolate. Coconut flour absorbs a lot of liquid, and this is one of the challenges for gluten-free bakers, and so it does not substitute well with other gluten-free flours. Coconut flour should also be stored in an airtight container, as it will absorb the humidity in the air. And the unique challenges for bakers, often recipes will include extra egg to make up for the properties of coconut flour, and that helps to add structure to the baking. And coconut flour is not recommended for yeast breads. So the best uses would be for pancakes, muffins, brownies, and cupcakes. You can use up to 20% coconut flour in a gluten-free flour blend. And I would always recommend using recipes that were written for coconut flour because they've already taken into account the unique properties. It does work well with other mild flours like millet, white rice, and almond flour. So I don't have any recipes on my website with coconut flour. When I experiment with it, this is what Sue Jennett calls Expera Baking. Sue does the Canadian Celiac podcast, and she's an avid baker, and so she always uses the term Expera Baking. So when I'm making my banana muffins, that's my go-to recipe to experiment, and it has, or if it has 2 cups of flour, I would use a 1/4 cup, sometimes even a 1/2 cup of any different flour that I wanted to experiment with. But the coconut flour, because of the unique properties, I just use 2 tablespoons, and even 2 tablespoons of that flour, substituted in the total amount of flour for that recipe, you can get a faint taste of coconut. And in banana muffins, it's great. You can add some coconut to that recipe and it works good. So it does work well in many recipes. So I want to recommend 3 blogs who have lots of experience and lots of recipes to share using coconut flour. That's Alana's Pantry, The Spunky Coconut, and Clean and Delicious. They all do lots of recipes with coconut flour. I'm Cindy, the Everyday Gluten Free Gourmet, sharing tips and recipes from my kitchen for more everyday cooking in yours. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Hit the little bell to subscribe when I post my next video. And thanks for watching.